We'll now be on the record in 2025 CR 99, State of Kansas versus Bonnie Jean Wood. County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state. The defendant, Bonnie Jean Wood, appears in person, in custody, and pro se. Ms. Wood, you're here on one count. It is alleging that on or about the 14th day of June 2025, in Greenwood County, Kansas, you committed the felony crime of criminal threat by unlawfully and intentionally threatening to commit violence, communicated with the intent to place another, that is Byron Wood, in fear. And this charge is a level 9 person felony. If convicted, you could get a sentence anywhere from 5 months to 17 months in prison, and you could pay a fine up to $100,000. It looks like you did turn in an application for court-appointed attorney. Now tell me, please, what this means. Spouse, religion, Thorpe, and a domestic matter out of 2010 in Sedgwick County that orders no contact. What does that mean?
It means that I don't have physical contact with him, but I'm tied to him through the courthouse, through Sedgwick County Courthouse, Nola Fulston, my mom. It was a religious marriage, a religious contract between families and churches, and it got mixed up in my case whenever I was taken away from my parents. I was placed in a home in Hayes.
All right, you said Nola Fulston, my mom. Is Nola Fulston your mom?
No, Nola Fulston. It was a contract between families and the churches. And then I was removed from my house by Nola Fulston. And it got mixed up in the cases.
Okay, and she was district attorney at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was given an option of either marrying within 3 days or being removed from my house. Those were my two options. I was abused, and Nola Fulston called me and said, well, you have two options. Either you get married in 3 days and marry Justin Flores, or you're going into state's custody. And I said, well, I'm not going to get married because the state makes me. And so I was sent away.
And who is Religion Thorpe? Is that his name?
No, Thorpe is his last name.
Well, what does this mean, spouse, Religion Thorpe?
It's a religious marriage.
Oh, okay. And his name is Thorpe.
Yeah.
Okay. You're unemployed for about 3 years. If employed, you put your no contact for your spouse. I think that's starting to make a little more sense. You don't have a permanent residence. You say you couch surf.
I just got out of jail in November. I got out of jail November 23rd, I think it was, and he picked me up the very next day, and I've been here with him ever since.
That's your stepdad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Is he still with your mom?
That actually, I have evidence that my mom and his divorce was never a legal divorce, because whenever they entered her birthday and her social security number, the birth date and social security number on the paperwork were wrong. And so their divorce is actually invalid. But suppose she's dead now. She died in 2008. I don't know that she ever even knew that her divorce was invalid, but he went on and married somebody else. And so there was.
Is he still with the other wife?
Not that I'm aware of. No, he hasn't. He was with me in Fall River from November on. They had a fight in 2020. Let's see. They had a fight in 2019. I left Wichita in 2019. He wanted me to come down here and stay with him. And so I came down here and stayed with him. And up until that point, they had been together, but they weren't together after that. So as far as I know, they haven't been together since 2019.
All right. So you're living with your stepdad. Are you in a relationship otherwise with him?
No.
Okay, but does he help support you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Your Honor, this is Kimberly Eckler. I'm Bonnie Wood's sister. Anytime you want some factual information, you can just go ahead and ask me. That is not her stepfather that she lives with. That is her biological father. Um, a lot of what she has said thus far has been part of her delusion. And that is why I'm here today to talk to you, because she very severely needs mental assistance and has gotten very little help. She's been in jail, like she said, and I think she was involuntarily committed for 30 days of the time she served. I don't know what the outcome of that was, if they diagnosed her with anything, if she was put on medication.
Well,
But
excuse me. The information you are giving may be very relevant at some time. It may not. I'm not sure, but I don't. Well, it might be relevant in whether she's a risk to return on bond, but right now I'm going through her application for attorney, and I'm just trying to get some information clarified on that.
and nothing she's provided you has been factual.
All right, thank
I'll
you.
let it continue because it just goes to further prove that she's not mentally stable. So anytime you want clarification,
Okay.
I'm here for that.
All right, well, you might want to talk to the county attorney if you haven't already. Now then, back to you, Miss Wood, and I noticed you signed your paperwork Wood Tharp.
Thorpe.
So Thorpe, is that your legal name, Wood Thorpe?
It's the name that I use, yeah.
Okay, and that would be for bio. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt. It needs to be said that this is a situation that my stepdad and I have been going through for a while, and that Kim does not know everything. And I think whenever this is done, I'm going to want a PFA from her too, if you don't mind.
Well, let me try to get through your financial situation. So you're married to a man named Thorpe.
It's not a legal marriage, no. It's just religious. It's just documentation. I tie everything together in my documentation through the court system is all it is.
Okay, but you went through some kind of religious ceremony with a man named Thorpe. You used the name Wood, which you said is your stepdad's name.
That's the name that I was given on my birth certificate. Yes.
And your sister says Wood is your biological father. All right. Well,
my mother was in between marriages, actually. She was married to Arnie Evanson and she had Dawn and Tina. And then she was not divorced from Arnie Evanson yet whenever I was born. My birth certificate shows that she signed Deborah Evanson. I was the child in between marriages. I am not Byron Wood's child, and Byron Wood knows this. And he's actually the one that started the conversation and told me that he was not my father. Kim is.
Okay, well, let's stick to the issue at hand. You also put on here, I am tied to these people does not mean I live with them. What people are you referencing?
Thorpe's. They all have this misconception that because I use the name that there's going to be some sort of event, I guess. I don't know exactly what it is they're thinking, but that's how I feel about it. And really all I'm doing is just documenting and validating that I heard what I'm being told by the people who are forcing me to validate.
All right, well, I'm going to find that you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. Check back with us later in the week, and Missy will tell you the name and contact information of that attorney. And Missy, when will her court date be?
July 18th at 1:30.
Is there any way that I could get a grid?
You copy the sentencing grid, your attorney will get that for you. All right, your bond, what's your bond set out, officer?
It's set at 5,000.
Okay, I see no reason to change that unless the state wishes to be heard on that.
Your Honor, when she does bond out, can we make it a thing that she does not go back to my father's residence, the person who
Hold on, hold on. I've been kind of lenient letting you interrupt these hearings, which is not appropriate, but I've been letting you do it. Let's not do that just yet. Let's not do
Well,
that
you let me
again.
know when it's appropriate because I wasn't told
I
it was
want
appropriate.
you to just stop right now. It's really not appropriate at all, but I will potentially come back to you. Miss Gillette, does the state wish to be heard on bond?
Judge, I believe 5,000 cash for professional surety is appropriate with no contact with the victim, Mr. Byron Wood, not to be at his house on his property. No contact means no contact, not through third parties. The residence is over in Fall River. That address is listed. So not to be there. And again, no third party. That means don't be sending messages. If she has to pick up stuff from the residence, I would prefer that there be a civil standby, that the officers be present with her to get any of her property from the residence.
All right, so you've been, as you said, couch on your application, you've been couch surfing, living with your stepdad, and he's the alleged victim of the criminal threat. So I am going to leave your bond at $5,000 cash or professional surety. The first condition is that you reappear for preliminary hearing July 18th at 1:30. The next condition is that you call back and get the name of your attorney and call that attorney before the next hearing. And then other conditions are the standard ones that you'll see on your bond, and a special condition that you have no contact, excuse me, no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, Byron Wood. So no, you cannot go back to his home. You cannot call him. You can't contact him through social media or through someone else. And if you do, that would get your bond revoked. Could potentially get new charges. You are to have, I'm not sure who Jennifer Anania is, but Miss Gillette, is that, she's endorsed as a witness. Is that someone she should have contact with?
Jennifer Annunziata.
I believe so. How is she related to you?
She technically, none of them except for Kim are technically related to me. That's Woody's family.
Okay, well, let's have no contact with her because she is an endorsed witness. And then the sister, you're Kim, are you Kim Eckler?
Eckler.
Okay. Say that again. What's your last name?
Eckler, Ekeler.
Okay, I'm going to order no contact with Kim Eckler. So those are conditions of your bond that could get you revoked. Now, Miss Eckler, I'll go ahead and let you say what else it is you're wanting to wrap up here, but I'm going to just give you a minute.
Okay,
So
well,
go ahead.
I was just here to make sure that whenever she did bond out, that she didn't have contact with my dad, my biological father, who is also her biological father, Byron Wood. And also requesting that there be some sort of requirement for her to submit to mental evaluation. She is clearly mentally unstable. She is not a criminal. Every single crime that she has committed has been based on delusion. She's clearly psychotic. None of the things that she talked about today made any sense, were not based in reality at all. And every single time she's committed a crime, it's been based on delusion. She's delusional. She needs to be involuntarily committed. And she's been in court and she's been in jail before. And I don't know how many times this has to go round and round and round before she's actually committed for a length of time that is beneficial for her. And that was my request. I wanted to make sure that she didn't just bond out and go right back over to my dad's, because that's happened before too. She's just mentally ill and she needs assistance. It needs to be part of her agreement that she sees somebody.
All
She's
right, well,
clearly
you
unstable.
can share more of those concerns with the county attorney, make an appointment to talk to the county attorney if she's able. And She will be getting an attorney, and that attorney, if he senses he or she senses what you're saying, they will have a duty to request a competency evaluation and proceed from there.
I just had that. I spent 3 months in Larned, and she
All
doesn't
right, well-
she doesn't know my
Well, I'm not gonna-
history.
Okay, I've been really tolerant, but I think it's time to stop this right now. I'm gonna remand you back to the custody of the jail because I've given you an attorney appointment, I've given you a bond and a court date. So you're remanded to the custody of the sheriff, and make sure you share any concerns you have, Miss Wood, with your attorney. And then, Miss Eckler, you can talk to the county attorney if you wish.
I will.
But for now, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.